Welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. Special welcome to our Patreon patrons. Thank you. You're getting this stuff real time because you're paying for it and you deserve it. Our YouTube subscribers, same thing. You're paying for it, you deserve it. Our Twitch Prime members who have linked their Amazon Prime account, easy and free, and you get the content quicker. And if you don't have a Twitch account and you know somebody who has a Prime account, create a Twitch account, make it happen. Link your account. I'm sure your parents have Prime. There's 235 million Prime members out there. You must have one. You just don't know it. Link those. We get paid. It costs you nothing. It's included in the price of admission. Today's question from YouTube from Buck Schneider. Scalpers continue to make finding a PS5 extremely difficult nearly 2 years after its release. Have I ever seen a product like this before? Retailers love it because it keeps consumers engaged in their storefronts, with their storefronts. So they're no help. How do you think that this problem can be solved? Do you think the government should step in and ban scalping? Is this even feasible? If there were a solution, shouldn't somebody have figured it out by now? Should the government regulate scalping? No. The market should regulate scalping. And if Sony sees a PS5 for sale for $2,000 on eBay, if that's not incentive enough for them to produce more PS5s, they're idiots. I mean, they're just idiots. So, and by the way, they are idiots. As I talked about in an earlier episode, the cost of the PS5 has probably gone up to more than the retail price. So Sony has no incentive to produce more. They could raise price, but that would alienate consumers. So they continue to bleed out fewer PS5s than people want and let scalpers make a profit. And that's too bad. I will tell you, my wife is a huge fan of Adele. And Adele is doing a concert series at Caesars. And I was going to surprise my wife and get us tickets until I saw that the front section is $4,400 a seat. And take my word for it, I have $4,400. Not for Adele, I don't. You know, I'm sorry. I couldn't believe it. And the nosebleed section is $1,500 a seat. And you know what that means? That means that she is a really great artist, and people are willing to pay that for her. And more power to her. Okay, so at that price, I'm not willing to pay it. So scalpers charge what people are willing to pay, and that's how capitalism works. And if Sony wants to figure it out, they'll make more. And if Sony were able to charge $1,000, what Sony should be doing is paying giving it to their employees. Let their employees scalp them. You know, so at least they can pay their people. But that's they won't do it. That would be a big scandal. So have I seen it before? The Wii was this. The Wii was dead for the first two Christmases. It probably stabilized before Christmas year 3. And I remember vividly this. I mean, Nintendo announced, because I covered them at the time, that they were going to make 14 million Wiis the first year. And then the second year, because of demand, they were going to make 19 million. And then the third year, 21 million. And then the fourth year, 24. So the problem was that each time they tried to guess demand, they were just too low, and demand didn't keep going up. Demand really was 24 million every year those first 4 years. They just didn't know it because the scalped units, there were people who just weren't going to pay $1,000 for a Wii. They wanted 300. And when Nintendo got up to 24 million, that's when we got perfectly in balance. And then they went to 22 and 20, and then they stopped making it. But it's really hard because it costs money to make these things, and it costs money to reserve the capacity to make them. And what Nintendo didn't want to do was line up production, make 24 million, and find out demand was 12, because they're committed. You have to commit to the production for multiple years, so it costs money to reserve the production capacity. It's worse now because the supply chain is so screwed up. So I kind of get why Sony's not ratcheting up, even if they were making money. But yes, I have seen it before with the Switch. With the Wii. No, retailers are no help. Government's no help. There is no solution. So buy an Xbox and get over it. Actually, just subscribe to Game Pass. And Sony's not worth it. Just wait. Wait for your PS5. And by the time you get your PS5, what games have launched that you care about? Like, who cares, right? God of War. I mean, I guess that's it. God of War, is that the first big game they're having?
No, I mean, Ratchet came out.
Yeah, I mean,
It's great.
I don't want to ding ratchet. I mean, but it's not a giant 30 million unit seller.
No, I mean God of War isn't 30 million seller either.
I know God of War's good though.
18, it'll probably max out.
Yeah, that's
Well,
big.
not for PS5 though.
Yeah, no, I know.
But it's multi-platform.
The real problem now is just supply chain. If Sony wanted to make twice as many, they couldn't because they can't get the chipsets. So that's different from the Wii. The Wii could. Sony typically expects to sell 15 million or more per year. And so I think if they were able to get the components, they would have been making 17 or 18. And we'd be much closer to supply-demand balance. But they just can't get them. So there's nothing they can really do about it. If they could get all the components, they would. And that's a design problem. And back when they designed it, they weren't considering supply chain issues. It didn't even occur to them they wouldn't be able to make them. So they always thought they could just ratchet it up when they needed to, and they need to, and they can't. What are you gonna do? It'll probably take them until Christmas of 23 to get supply to catch up with demand. It really depends. I mean, they could announce something like next week that we cut a deal with a new semiconductor company and we redesign the PS5 and we're going to jack up production tomorrow. But it's pretty late in the year, so probably too late for this Christmas. You probably would have heard about it. So I'd say we're going to get supply-demand balance next Christmas. It may happen in June or July next year, but Christmas we should be okay in 23. That's what I expect. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. If you are a Patreon patron, we really appreciate your patronage. You're getting this real time. If you're a YouTube subscriber, you're also getting it real time. Thank you so much. If you have managed to figure out that your parents have a Prime account, you can link it to your Twitch Prime account, we're getting paid. So please do that. The way to do that is described in the show's description. So just click on that and it'll show you what to do. And if you are too lame to do any of that stuff or you have no money and you're watching a week late on YouTube, I appreciate the attention. Follow me on Twitter @Michael Pachter.